Well, Sean, you call him the Sweeneyest for a reason. So Don Sweeney gets it done. Wiggy, not what Wiggy wanted, clearly, based on yesterday's show, but you'll take it.
Yep.
And it is for the Bruins a three-way deal, Courtney. So,
what is a three-way?
What is a three-way? Well, we don't have time right now, Courtney. Enjoy Florida. Wiggy can explain that to you later.
Believe me, she knows. We know her friends.
But it's so your issue now, because you have one, it seems like every day with the Boston Bruins, is that this ratchets up the pressure a little bit. Like now you have got to win, and there need to be repercussions if you don't win the Stanley Cup.
Well, I think Curtis brought up a great point earlier today. Now the expectations are very similar to the 07 Patriots, right? You're so dominant where you're talking about,
best season ever
and potentially NHL history.
Correct. That's the national conversation this morning.
Right, and the way you're able to handle teams, the expectations, the same way I brought up, like if the Celtics play the Sixers, the Celtics should be able to win that series, no problem. So if you're the Bruins, there's not a series you should not be able to win. And the expectations are based on the way that you guys have played all year long. That's the expectations of this hockey team. As a fan sitting there, I will take nothing less than getting to the Stanley Cup Finals. Now, then when you get there, then obviously see how...
No, this team should win it all. The both teams should win it all. I mean, they should.
But
They're
more
both
pressure on the Bruins, though, to win it all.
Well, I think there's more pressure on the Bruins for the main reason being that Bergeron is likely not going to be around much longer.
Yeah.
The team is still going to be, Pasta's...
You don't necessarily know what Krejci's going to do.
Exactly. Right. So with the Bruins, it's more of a finality to those two guys, whereas the Celtics... The only logical conclusion to the season that would show progress is to win 2 more games and be the champions. Anything less, I mean, they have been the favorite since the end of last year. They have been the best team in basketball all year, and they have to win.
But they're still Milwaukee.
But the Celtics, yes, they're still Milwaukee, and the Celtics are the best team in the NBA by a half a game or a game.
Right.
The Bruins have been dominant the entire season. Dominant.
Right. So doesn't that, when you look at the Bruins, it's almost like a gift and a curse to play as good as they've been playing all season long and dominating. It almost now is the curse because we fans look at it and go, there shouldn't be anybody that can beat that. With the Celtics, they're like, they're better than everybody else, but there are a couple teams that you go, oh.
Right. So when it comes to the degree of pressure, you would say it's way up there, right?
To the 10th degree.
Yeah.
Yeah? I didn't even say higher than that, Courtney.
It might be the 9th degree, but it's definitely to the 10th degree.
I have to say, I don't want to jinx it, but Greg is pitching a perfect game.
And don't you almost feel like as a Bruins
with regard to remote court? Yeah.
By the way,
don't jinx it.
I know. I just ruined it. I ruined everything. But the thing about the Bruins, doesn't the season have to end with a Vegas Bruins Stanley Cup final?
That'd be ideal.
How beautiful! We should go to Vegas if that happens.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
That would be. Because I could just picture DeBrusque and Cassidy staring each other down.
Right.
You'd have the Gosher Bowl, the Gauche man calling the games. That would be sensational.
Here is, the great Maria from Watertown. Maria, how are you?
I'm well. How are you guys today? I have to say,
Maria,
yes, go ahead.
You just heard, thanks to my buddy Curtis, how I am with regard to my performance so far this morning. Curtis said it was fantastic. Courtney, what do you think of my performance so far this morning?
Exemplary.
Yeah, exemplary. Thank you, Maria. Go ahead.
Remote Courtney is on fuego today. Just the value add is just tremendous today.
Yes, it is.
Wiggy, my friend, the only thing that I have agreed with you about all week long when it comes to the Boston Bruins is what you just said about the pressure being ratcheted up. It is most definitely, in my view, Stanley Cup Finals or bust. I can't go so far as to say they have to win it all because I don't know that any of us can predict that, no matter how good the team is, because we've seen some crazy things happen. But this team needs to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals.
No.
This
I mean,
year.
if you're gone, God forbid, gone in the first round, gone in the second round, Like,
oh my God, you're cleaning house. I'm sorry.
Right.
Everybody's got to go if that happens. Like yeah. Sweeney, Neely, they all have to go if they don't make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. So, and I like the trade. Hathaway is a rat, but he's our rat now.
Yeah.
He's been a rat even when he was back in Maine. But I'd rather him be the rat than Brad Marchand, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good balance and somebody that this team has been lacking in the past. And the kid can score too. So if he pops in a goal or two on the fourth line, even better. Orlov should be able to spot Grzelcyk in certain situations because as much as, I do like the player, I don't love the player, but he has his weaknesses, particularly in the playoffs. So, I think Sweeney is building the foundation to put together a long and deep playoff run. So, I've been critical of Mr. Sweeney in the past, but I will give him credit for being able to make good trade decisions. The drafting is a totally different issue, so I don't care how many draft picks they give away because they're clearly not good at utilizing these draft picks. So let's just go for it now, figure out the future at the end of the season.
Is there nothing?
you can figure like in the future being lots of things. I mean, David Pasternak, what you figure all that stuff out at like if you're Don Sweeney, this is it. You got to go for it right this moment. And literally in my mind, who cares what happens after?
Well, Maria brought up a good point. If you don't get to the Stanley Cup Finals, aren't you basically saying, all right, it's time to move on from Sweeney and Neely? I mean, how many years before we start to throw them in the same category that we threw Danny Ainge in?
I'm sorry. Danny Ainge got a lot of time off of the one title, and Don Sweeney has had a masterclass.
It's been, 14 years for Cam Neely?
I'm not saying you're wrong. I can't believe that today we're talking about firing a guy that just pulled off a steal of a trade.
Yeah. Wiggy's a noted Bruins hater.
No, because we're talking about expectations, right? So part of the expectation conversation is I almost look at it, I wish they weren't playing as dominant as they are playing because
peaking too early.
Well, I
love it.
It's not about peaking. No. It's about the added pressure that they're gonna have on themselves. I'll never forget. I remember seeing Teddy Bruschi say this, that he wishes in 2007
they lost the game.
They lost the game. Now I know hockey's different, but you look at the pressure that they're putting. Can you imagine the pressure that these guys are going to be dealing with going into the postseason if they continue to play this way?
Was part of your evil genius hour I joined you with the Swayman trade talk that the pressure to be the greatest team of all time would dissipate because they'd lose more games and have less pressure in the playoffs?
Well,
there
Curtis,
you
go. You're deep in my mind now.
I like
but
it.
I was thinking when Maria was talking, I said, can they maybe sit Allmark for a while? Is there any way that they can go on a little bit of a losing streak so now we take the pressure off them?
Greg, this is so uniquely Boston. At no other market in the world do they have the best hockey team on the planet who just got better after winning a tight one last night over the Kraken. And this morning, the morning show host at WEEI is saying that the GM's job's on the line.
Yeah, 100%. It's Wiggy.
Well, I mean, Maria makes a good point. Clean house. If
we are going to get you on the bandwagon, okay? I want you. We're gonna get you on. Whether it's me, maybe honestly, maybe it could be remote Courtney who gets you. Courtney, talk to Wiggy about getting on the bandwagon.
I'm going to get you on, get you off.
Okay, all right.
And I only.
I mean.
And the reason,
if you get on the bandwagon, listen to Jackson. Know where the exits are.
I mean, I don't know about the second part, but
the reason why I say it, Greg, is because I remember 2007. I remember Teddy saying those things, and even with Brad Marchand, his comments, like you know how we always tell when I tell you to Belichick look for the nuggets. His comments show me where it doesn't matter what our records are. Shows how much pressure.
They're feeling?
That they are feeling.
Yeah.
AJ said it when he sat here.